brand new Flutter tutorial, and in this tutorial we're gonna learn about 12 Flutter solid foundation concepts. Okay, so let's go right on to it. And so first of all, how Flutter starts. Okay, so every Flutter app starts with the main function. As you can see here, this is the main function here, here actually. So so it's every Flutter app starts with the main function, okay, which is the entry point of your application. So inside main you will call the run app, this function, which takes a widget as an argument. As you can see here, my app, the entire application is a widget. Okay, it's like composed of the widget itself. Okay, so this widget is the root of your widget tree, and defines the structure of your app UI. Okay, so this is what is happening here. Okay, so this, you can check the code here. Okay, entirely. What you can see, to summarize everything, you have the main. Okay, so this main function is the entry point of your app. Then you use run app, this launches the Flutter app. Then you have this my app, this is the root widget of the app. It is a stateless widget because its configuration is immutable. Okay, so you cannot configure like you cannot change the configuration. Okay, so a widget, and then you have the material app, as you can see here inside this my app widget, which is a stateless widget, which is going to return a material app. So this material app is a widget that configures the app with material design principles. Okay, thus as you can see here, the home constant, like my home page, this is the first screen of your app. Okay, so this is what is actually happening here. So this is the entire structure, how the Flutter apps is gonna start. Okay, so now let's jump to the another interesting concept that is called widgets. Widgets are the building blocks of Flutter UI. They describe what the UI should look like given their current configuration and state. So Flutter has two main types of widgets. Okay, so one is like stateless widget, that I already told you that my app, this is a stateless widget. Okay, and then the another one is like a stateful widget. Okay, so my homepage is a stateful widget. So what is a stateless widget? These widgets are immutable, so their properties cannot change after they are built. Okay, so they are used for parts of the UI that don't change dynamically. So the UI, the configuration is not gonna change here. So it's gonna be pretty much static. Okay, so and stateful widget, these widgets can change their internal state. They are used for parts of the UI that need to be updated dynamically, such as the user interaction with the button. Okay, so whenever you interact with the button, something's like the UI is going to change, because obviously if it is a counter, then the counter is going to change. If it is a random number, we are going to generate the random number, and this is how the things is going to happen. Okay, this is the simple understanding of the widget in Flutter. So how do we use the our widget? So to use your widget, it's pretty simple. As you can see here already in the code, you're using my home page stateful widget. You are going to use here in your material app, inside the home. Okay, so like so this is how you can use the widget. So as you can see here, your material app, okay, let's see, my home widget, this is it's a simple my home page widget that displays my home page widget. Okay, let me see, my home page widget, it's a pretty simple widget that's gonna display my custom card. Okay, so inside here, okay, let's go, we see that we have a scaffold. Okay, it's returning this widget, simple stateful my home state. Okay, so it's my home page widget is a stateful widget, and this is returning a scaffold. It's a scaffold is a scaffold provides a basic visual structure for the material design app. Okay, so and then you have a, inside the scaffold you have a app bar. It's a horizontal bar at top of the app. Then you have a what else, we have this central, this is like a child widget, and then finally you have this child, which is like a my custom card. Okay, so this is our another custom widget. Okay, so we're gonna discuss about this custom widget later on. That's it. So Okay, let's understand another interesting concept, that is like how do we configure the widgets and objects. So widgets are configured using their constructs. So you pass data to them as arguments. So if you go back to my my home like my home page, then you see uh, that we are using these constructors, right? To You can pass the this arguments there, right? For example, here the title. Okay, you see the title is being passed here. You see that this is the configuration property, as you can see here. Where is the title? Yeah, string title. This is the configuration property. Is a configuration property, and then you are going to use this configuration. We are using this title property here. So as you can see, you pass data to them as a argument property. Okay, so let's learn about more about another interesting concept, that is like styling the text. You can style text using the text style class. So okay, so let's give simple. Let's try to style the text. For example, like this is the title property. You can style the text here. So this is the app bar title. Okay, what about okay, let me create a simple custom card. Okay, give the example like the text. You can see here we have using the text style, that is like we are not gonna use the font style 20. So and the font weight is we are going to use the bold. Okay, and then also similarly you can also have a color like colors blue. Okay, font family, like you can also use any, if you have a custom font family, you can use font family like Roboto or anything. Okay, so for the moment I'm using the default font. So this is how you can style text using the text style class. Okay, so now let's also learn about another interesting concept in Flutter, that is like adding gradient colors. So how can you add gradient colors using the container widget? So you can add gradient colors using this container widget, and it's a decoration property. So so let me think about the example here. Can have a container. Okay, can have a container of with 200. Then you can also have a height of 100. Okay, decoration. So you can what you can do is you can add gradient colors to your container. Okay, so like you can use the box decoration gradient, then you can use the linear gradient. Then for the colors you can use the array of colors dot red, colors dot yellow, and what else, let me see. Linear gradient, you begin top alignment, left, and you and bottom right. Okay, so and what else, yeah, this is it. This is how we can create the add gradient colors using the container widget and its decoration property. Okay, using the box decoration. So we use this box decoration to add styles to the container, and the linear gradient creates a linear gradient. So you define the start and end point of the linear gradient, as you can see here, using this parameters begin end. Then you pass the list of colors to the gradient. Okay, so this is how we can add the gradient colors. So you can also style buttons and work with the padding. So let me see if I have any elevated button. Let's create a elevated button on pressed action. Thing is done here. So this is like a button action. We'll do it later. For the child, we have the elevated, like we have the text. This is like a styled button. Okay. Okay, for the style, you have the child. Okay, you have the on press. Then let's the style. You have the elevated button dot elevated button dot style from. So you can use a background colors green. Then you have a padding that is constant. Let's inserts inserts symmetric. Then you have a horizontal of 32, vertical of 16. Can use the you can use the text style of constant text style of yeah, you can use this font size 18, font weight is of bold. Okay, so this is how we can style a button and add padding. Okay, okay, you can also add there is you can add padding. Okay, to add padding actually, okay, let me see if I can use this you can use the center child padding. Okay, constant yes, we can use this celebrated button X. Okay, oh sorry, no, child, we have a central padding child as an elevated button here, center. Okay, child and the padding. Then you have for the padding, so this is the child. Okay, so this is the padding, and after the padding you can have you need still another central, okay, item, yeah. Okay, so this should work. So padding adds a space around your widget. Elevated button is a material designed button that you know that. So we added the text style to our buttons. Elevated button, okay, so we added the style, the padding, okay, background color, and that's it. So how do you display the image? It's pretty simple. As you can see here, I'm using a simple I'm loading a image, simple image from the URL. This is a placeholder, okay. You can replace this with your image URL, okay. So it's pretty simple. You can also add your respective width and height based on your image requirement, okay. So you can add the width of maybe 300 and height of 300, okay. So this is how you can do that. You can also display an image from the assets folder, okay. So adding the button is pretty simple. You have already added the buttons here, the elevated button here, okay. And how not to build the interactive widget. Okay, so the key principle here is that the stateless widget are immutable. So if you try to change the property directly in response to user interaction, it won't work. So the UI won't update. So the incorrect approach is if you use a stateless widget and try to increment the counter, okay. Yeah, if you try to use the stateless widget and try to update the UI, this is the incorrect approach, okay. So stateless widgets are rebuilt only when their construction arguments are changed. So changing the counter variable inside the increment counter method doesn't trigger or rebuild, so don't use that approach. So the correct approach is to use the stateful widget. As you can see here, we are using the stateful widget here, okay. For interactive widget, okay, so you need the stateful widget. So the stateful user widget has this set state, okay. This tells the Flutter that the internal state has changed. So Flutter then rebuilds the widget tree and the UI updates, okay. So the method like the create state, as you can see here, is responsible for creating the state of the widget, and then you have the set state here, okay. So this is just for the counter incrementation. So the custom widget, as you can see here, this is the custom card widget, okay, that we are using. If you run the app, running device, if you see, this is my custom card, okay. Okay, so this is my custom card where I have this let me show the custom card, where I have this added this gradient here using this container. Then I have this text, okay, then the description, and then we have this image that I loaded from the URL, and finally I have this elevated button, and then I have applied the respective style, okay. So this is my custom card. So this is a custom widget, okay. So this is custom widgets are very essential for building a complex UI and reusing the UI components in your entire application. So this is very essential. So how do you use this, create this custom widget? This is the example, okay. So you just need to create a custom widget which is extending the stateless widget, and you declare the necessary parameters, and then we have the necessary constructions, and you override this build variable and return the respective widget, right, that you have, the custom widget that you have created. And this is entirely, this custom widget is being used if you see in the main Dart file, I'm using this custom widget, okay. I'm just parsing these parameters and just using this custom widget. This is how to use this custom widget. So a stateless widget that represents this custom widget is the stateless widget, okay. So it is being it represents the reusable card UI with titles and description as a parameters or properties, to configure the cards content. Okay, so this can be reused, okay, in your entire application. So you can see here cross axis alignment. This aligns the child to the start of the column, and sized box here is the space between the title and the description. You can see this space. Okay. Okay, so finally I have also created another interesting custom widget. This is like a widget that generates the random number. Okay, so it's a stateful widget. So okay, so it imports the dart.math library, and math library for random number generation. So let's use that. So to use that, you can just use oh, sorry. Okay, you have this random number widget. So if I how to reload, you see this is a random number. It's gonna generate a random number when you click this button, generate. Okay, so so we have imported this math library for the random number generation. Then you have this state, it's a stateful widget, okay, to manage the random numbers. So the random number is a state variable to hold the generated number. Okay, so this is the state variable. So you can use this generate random number, this function that generates a random integer between uh, 0 and 100. Okay, so 0 is inclusive and 100 is exclusive. 0 generates a random number between 0 and 99. Okay, so this is the set state. Okay, it's doing here. So it triggers the UI update here, actually set state. And if you check it out, the widget consists of a column, arrange the text and button vertically, and centers the child vertically using this max axis alignment. And you have the children consist of the text, size box, and the elevated button. Okay, so this is it. So I have already told you how you can use this random widget. You just need to call it here. Okay, so it is pretty much custom random widget, which is custom widget which you can use in their entire application, and it's reusable. So finally, now the key tips for the success is like understand. You need to understand the widget type. Okay, so the difference between stateless widget and stateful widget. So what is the real difference between them? So you need to understand them. And you need to understand also the state management. Like set state is the fundamental for updating the UI in the stateful widget. And you need to understand how to create custom widgets to encapsulate the UI components and improve code readability, reusability, and also how to use the libraries. Like simple example, like I'm using a dart.math library for random number generation. You need to learn how to use libraries, the external libraries. And you need to learn how to use widgets like column, row, central padding, container, structure of the UI. So also some styling, like using text styles, box decoration, and the style properties of the widgets to customize the appearance. And also learn how to use image networks or image assets to display the images. And finally the elevated button. Okay, how to use that and how to trigger the button changes. And that's it. So further so this is the fundamental introduction of Flutter with the examples. And if you want to explore further, I'm gonna in the future lectures I'm gonna come up with more advanced Flutter concepts, like more complex layouts, using generating more complex layouts, like using like rows, stacks, list view, grid view, and more advanced layouts. I'm also gonna create more tutorials about networking, like how to make HTTP requests to the fetch data from the APIs. And also we're gonna also learn the concept like form, that is learning how to create and handle user inputs with forms. We also need to learn I'm gonna create a tutorial about navigation. where we're gonna learn how to navigate between different screens using navigator. So we'll also learn about advanced state management, like looking into more sophisticated state management solutions like providers, reward pod, or block for larger applications. And then finally, we can also learn about animations, assets, for to make your app more engaging. Okay, thank you guys, and if you want more contents like this one, please do subscribe me, so it will be a huge support for me, and catch you up in the next lecture. Thank you guys.